Man is thinking about life on Mars, or maybe about building a luxury resort over the moon, or about constructing an island by gathering the waste from the Pacific garbage patch. Does this all put together make sense to everyone in this room? Sounds too complicated, isn't it? Let me just simplify this for you. Busy moms in the kitchen probably would be thinking of having a robot do all their household chores for them. On the roads, bustling with traffic, people would be thinking of having a propelling force that shoots their car like a rocket and transports them in their desired destination. And students like us, we dream of having things done by merely just the snap of our fingers. Like one snap, and all my homework is done for me. And another snap, I'm here in my classroom. Probably now you're getting my point. All of these are just the glimpses of the power of imagination. Imagination that has the power to transport us into a new world, shape our understanding about the past, and envision a brighter future. Imagination, that boundless faculty of the human mind, is the force that propels us beyond the constraints of reality into a universe of uncharted possibilities. Before we begin, please think of a time when you needed to use your imagination. Well, this day, this moment, I had imagined myself to be in a few days ago. For a recent story writing in class, I imagined myself to be trapped inside a whale's mouth. And a few months ago, I imagined to design a sustainable house with clean and green space. And a year ago, I traveled to Bhutan in my thoughts through my learnings. And all of these are instances where my brain kept imagining. There is something that is real. There is something that could be made possible. And bridging this gap happens through imagination. Because it has the ability to think outside the box, question norms, and forge new routes. Imagination is the foundation of inventions. It gives life to the abstract and rise to the breakthroughs that influences the development of the entire civilization. One interesting fact that I would like to share to everyone in this room today is about the connection between empathy and imagination. Empathy is the ability to emotionally understand what other people feel, see others' perspectives, and be in other situations. There are many examples for this, like climate activists who work selflessly for the environment, or social reformers who are trying to make Erode a beggar-free zone, and even my very own father who built a library for the blind. Imagination is like having a superpower in our mind. It's a true life skill. It's when we can dream up incredible ideas, picture things that don't even exist, and create new stories or drawings in our head. It's when we can daydream and be creative. Just imagine being able to travel to outer space, explore magical lands, or even talk to animals. That's the power of imagination. Intellectual imagination, imaginative fantasy, empathy, strategic imagination, and dreams are all types of imagination. Pretending is also a type of imagination. Imagination and innovation work together like best friends. Imagination gives you ideas, and innovation helps you turn those ideas into cool stuff that can change the world. Now, innovation or imagination in action is when we take those fantastic ideas from our imagination and make them real. It's turning our dreams into something that we can touch, use, or share with others. There's a misconception about the concept innovation, where individuals think that innovation is for the scientists, innovation is for the industrialists, innovation happens in technology, innovation is in medicine, innovation is in the subject of the future. Probably this is what flashes in our mind when we think of innovation. But if we pause to reflect, we understand and see that innovation is in every field around us. Just sit back and look at the evolution of cinema. Think about the various books of fiction like the famous Harry Potter series. Or wonder, think about the before Christ era where magnificent buildings were constructed and few of them are alive until today. Relate to those pieces of artwork created by famous artists, fashion, food, clothing, teaching, cooking, managing finances, fitness, parenting, homemaking. Everything is an act of innovation. You know why? All of these involve planning, critical thinking, decision making, communicating, being creative, experimenting, taking risks, building empathy, and metacognition. And all of these are the pillars of imagination. We all probably have a lot of brilliant imagination going on in our mind, but we just throw it away, thinking that it is too crazy, impractical, and absurd. Maybe if we give it a try, there will be space for some little imagination into action. A person who I know and a person who uses a lot of imagination and innovation is my father. I would call him an innovator. He works on the waste management sector. He designs a lot of machinery in his company. And just like the evolution of mobile phones, he improvises them. So now, you might wonder, why does imagination and innovation matter? They develop critical thinking, problem-solving abilities, and the ability to become new knowledge throughout our life. While AI is just able to handle data, interpret results, and do calculations, we humans are capable of actual thought and imagination. Innovation demands imagination and creative thinking, and they matter because of the following reasons. First, they help us solve problems. Just imagine if you didn't have any imagination or innovation. You wouldn't have any medicine to cure yourself when you're sick, or any electricity to light up your houses. Secondly, they make our lives more exciting and fun. Just imagine your video games, movies, and books. All of them came from someone's wild imagination, and their creators use innovations to share them with the world. Lastly, they make the future better. The world is always changing, and we need new ideas and innovations to make this world a suitable place for everyone to live in. Maybe one day you will create something to change the world. I have another quick test for you. Please try to visualize the number 0 in your mind. Now, rotate the number by 90 degrees and twist it in the center by 180 degrees. What did you just visualize? It's the symbol of infinity. This was just a simple gesture of imagination. William Blake once said, "What is now real was once only imagined." Imagination allows us to think beyond the boundaries about impossible things, which once we start imagining about can turn into an innovation. Innovation demands imagination and creative thinking, and they matter because of the following reasons. Necessity is the mother of inventions. So is imagination, which is why we humans have been innovating since the start of human civilization to make a survival of our lives and improve for a better future. It leads to economic growth, healthcare, education, and more, improving our quality of life. Imagination influences everything we do, think about, and create. It leads to amazing dreams and innovations. There was a time when our parents in their generation went to high school. They probably just had one or two computers in an entire school. Their teachers would demonstrate the uses of input devices and output devices. Those days, computers looked like a white box with black and white screen working on DOS operating system. That is when Mr. Bill Gates said that in the future, every house will have a computer. Well, look what you have now. Most of the houses we know have computers. Doodling, daydreaming, and telling stories all boost up our imagination. Even taking a walk could help. In fact, these are the things that I personally love to do. Doodles in my notebooks are the reflection of my thinking and learning. Reading is a habit that I'm blessed with, which keeps me thinking, visualize situations through words of author, infer character portrayals. It gives me an understanding about what is good and what is wrong, and it enhances my vocabulary. Calligraphy was an art that I once imagined of learning. Now I have made it happen. Today I'm an expert at Brisbane calligraphy. Playing with colors and picturing my thoughts on paper is the proof of my imagination, which will take shape into an innovation one day. I dream of this, I imagine this, and I will innovate this one day. That's a promise. So, how can you imagine and start innovating? Here are a few tips to kickstart your imagination journey. Daydream. Let your mind wander and imagine all sorts of things. What would you innovate if you could create anything you want? Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask what if or why not questions. They lead to amazing discoveries. Experiment. Try things out and don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes and keep improving from them. Share your ideas. Don't keep your imagination to yourself. Share them with friends, family, or even teachers. They might help you bring your imagination to life. Today, if there's one superpower that I am going to take back from this presentation to this TED event, that would be my spirit of imagination. In the end, both imagination and innovation are super important. They let us dream big and create wonderful things. So, never stop dreaming. And who knows, maybe one day you will create something to change the world with your brilliant imagination into innovation. Thank you for listening. Keep dreaming, create innovations.